Staying with legal matters, let's take you to this conversation now. Now, public confidence in the National Prosecuting Authority is slipping away as more high-profile cases fall apart in the courts. The latest blow came on Tuesday, and this was yesterday when a judge ruled that Moroadi Cholota's extradition connected to the Free State asbestos corruption case was unlawful. With growing criticism over these repeated failures, questions are now being raised about the NPA's legal approach and its ability to deliver successful prosecutions. To unpack this issue further, we're now joined by Glynnis Breytenbach, who's the DA spokesperson for Justice and Constitutional Development. Thank you so much for your time on the program this hour. And of course, the NPA's credibility is seemingly dwindling. What, in your view, does this tell us about the state of the NPA today, particularly its internal legal and procedural expertise?
Good morning to you and everyone. Yes, it's particularly concerning that this development yesterday has taken place. This is another high-profile case, a high-profile state capture case that now has hit a lot of troubles, a big speed bump. The NPA is downplaying the fact that Ms. Cholota was, her extradition was found to be unlawful and will no longer appear with the other accused. But the fact of the matter is that she was an essential cog in that chain, and there was a reason why she was accused with the rest, because you need her version. You need to be able to confront the other accused with her version and cross-examine them on it. So it makes a big difference to the presentation of their case. Certainly, and it may well leave a big hole in their case. So, we'll have to see her. Having gone to the trouble of extraditing her and bringing her to the Free State and charging her clearly means that they needed her evidence, they needed her, the facts that she will present as an accused in a case. And the idea is, of course, to have the accused accusing one another, and you sort of sit back and just wipe up the mess. But now they won't have her. So it is disturbing. It's concerning that it appears that there was a reasonably simple error in the extradition process, an error that shouldn't have taken place. If looking at the judgment, it appears as if the DPP in the Free State applied for the extradition as opposed to it going via the Department of Justice and the proper channels. So that's a rookie error, and it shouldn't have happened. Somebody should have picked it up if that's the case. They say they might want to appeal it. Well, they may well want to appeal it, but that will delay matters by many months. So the situation is not ideal. On the back of other problems, the other case in the Free State, failed miserably. The Omatozo case, many high-profile cases are now falling apart in court, and that's deeply concerning because court work is the work of the NPA.
And I actually just want to pick up on that, Ms. Breytenbach. And we've seen several high-profile cases fail, either due to weak evidence or procedural mishaps. So do you get a sense that, these are just isolated errors, or do they point to a deeper structural dysfunction within the prosecuting authority?
Well, I wish I could say that it was, just isolated instances, but it just isn't. It's clearly a deeper systemic problem. We know that the NPA is under-resourced, both financially. Their budget is continually slack, which does not help matters at all. As a result, they're unable to attract the kind of skills that they would like to attract because, private enterprise pays more. The NPA spends its time training, teaching young prosecutors, and then they get poached by private enterprise because they can't compete with salaries. So that's an issue. But the biggest problem, in my view, is this: that there's over 2,000 prosecutors in South Africa, and they go to work every day and really try and do their best, most of them. and they have a difficult job. They have a lot of work. They're overworked. They have no assistance. They have no administrative support. It's really, it's a tough job. And so things do fall through the cracks. But when you get to these kinds of cases, you expect a much bigger, more comprehensive effort. And so, that clearly isn't happening. But as I do unannounced oversight at various courts in the countries, which we do on a regular basis, I see prosecutors in court doing their very best, but their very best smacks of a lack of experience and a serious lack of mentorship. And the people with a lot of experience in the NPA are reaching retirement age and they're leaving, and there's nothing being done to retain those skills. And there's no mentorship program at all. And so there's no one for the young prosecutors to learn from, and that is now starting to show.
And also just to zoom in back onto yesterday's court matter that unfolded at the Bloemfontein High Court. Now, Judge Lopser found that, the former Free State Premier's personal assistant, Moroadi Cholota's extradition from the US was unlawful. And before that, there were many others, as you've rightfully alluded to. Now, there's a call for a willing and competent NPA to win back the public's confidence. What will it take to realize it?
Well, in my view, it will.
Ms. Breytenbach,
you want to cut to that?
Yes, let me repeat the question for you. I mean, so much has been said now. There's a need now because people say that there's a need for an NPA that is willing, having looked at some of the cases that have fell through the cracks. What will it take to, of course, realize that vision of having an NPA that is willing and good to go to win the public's confidence?
In my view, it will take two things. One, to set up an external, independent, anti-corruption body that deals with high-profile corruption and organised crime matters, takes that away from the purview of the NPA and is staffed with very experienced prosecutors, investigators, and forensic capability, and then rebuild the NPA to carry on with their core function, having relieved them of the burden of this layer of very, very complex cases. And then I think we have a chance.
All right, I must thank you so much for your time on the program. That is, of course, Glynnis Breytenbach joining us there from the DA to just give us a breakdown as well as her views on some of the matters that we've seen on the legal front. Thanks very much indeed for your insights this hour.